What's interesting for me, and certainly something I realized in Nunga's story, was there is quite a thin line between coaching and mentoring, right? And I mean, you've explained the mentoring piece really, really clearly, but there is even a point in the book where I think it's actually the chapter on coaching, where you actually start to weave in what mentorship is and therefore where the differences are. And I'll read that piece. You say there are times when looking inwardly isn't enough, which is what the coach does. The coach helps you to look inwardly. Then you say when the right move isn't found through reflection, but wait, what does it say? When the right move isn't found through reflection, but through the experience of someone who has walked the path with you. So there are times when looking inwardly isn't enough. When the right move isn't found through reflection, but through the experience of someone who has walked the path before. And I think oftentimes, I'll speak for myself because I've been in a situation where I needed to have a coach at work, or I was told to get coaching. I was always looking to work with someone who had been a black female in corporate before, who at least had that as a basic
experience.
But if I'm reading this, I could actually, from a coaching perspective, work with someone who's completely different.
Absolutely. So the coach doesn't have to. In fact, it was one of the mistakes I made earlier on in my career, and I was looking for a coach, and I could never find a coach. And the problem was I was looking for a coach who had run a software company like me, or not necessarily a software company, we run a company, grown it to a particular side, had those things, and I'd meet these guys and they all they'd done is coaching, and I'm like, yeah, no, you haven't had the experience, you can't coach me. And it was a mistake. What I was looking for was a mentor. Right? And I didn't understand the difference between the coach and the mentoring. What I needed is a coach, and a really good coach has the ability to unlock things and get you to in that journey of self-discovery. But a mentor has that ability. A mentor's been there before you, and mentors can often coach. But coaches can't often mentor. But mentors can often coach, right? And so a lot of people sort of say, well, how do I find a coach, a mentor, a business advisor, a counselor? You know, how many people do I have to have? And I can't even find one, let alone all of them. And I think what I normally say is, if you can find somebody who's a mentor, and we talked about sponsorship before the session, and we can touch on that. But if you can find somebody who's been there before you and has an interest in you, and doesn't just tell you all the answers, but actually walks the path with you and asks you questions rather than tells you the solutions, that's great. Remember a key thing here, mentors, in the true sense of it, the mentor is somebody you meet every now and then. If you're lucky, once a month, normally once every 2 months. You have a session with them, you have a meal, you know, and you sort of go, where did you do, how do I go on? A coach is with you in the game all the time, right? So if you look at, I don't know, the rugby match or the tennis match, you know, you look at, you know, the guy, I don't know, the tennis players, but their coach is next to them, and they're talking to them all the time, or they're there in the thing, and they're shouting, do this, and then in between they're stopping, they're going, hey, do this. Right, the coach is in the game with you all the time, What's happening here? And so a coach you should be meeting once a week or once every 2 weeks. They're coaching you. A mentor, not so often. Now, in Lunga's case, he's sort of in corporate, and one of the things you get in corporate is different, because typically you do have structures, you have levels, and often you can find a mentor with somebody who is interested in you and your career. Either they've been assigned to you, or they're just interested and you've got a friendship with them. And they then start filling that role of being a mentor and a coach, right? And they can start helping you through this, and you can talk to them, I've got these problems, how did you overcome that? Now, you're sort of saying, I'm looking for a black female who's done this before. That's the sort of the mentor role, who could then play a bit of a coach role. But sometimes to take yourself out of that situation altogether, right, somebody who's not in the company, there's no what's in it for me, there's no hidden agendas, right, there's nothing personal here at all, it's just a coach. Right, they can be very objective, right, and they can say, what about this, have you done this, and so on.